Oliver sat at a small table in the bustling cafe, his sketchbook open before him, yet his pencil lay idle. The warm aroma of coffee enveloped him, mingling with the laughter and chatter of patrons around him. Sunlight streamed through the large windows, casting a golden hue over the room, but Oliver felt a chill in his heart. He was struggling with self-doubt, questioning whether his art would ever be good enough to share with the world. As he stared blankly at the page, his mind wandered to the upcoming art exhibition. It was a chance for him to showcase his work, but the thought of putting himself out there terrified him. Just then, the door swung open, and a rush of cool air swept through the cafe. Oliver looked up, momentarily distracted from his thoughts. In walked Jasper, a striking figure with an easy confidence that turned heads. He was new to San Francisco, having moved from another city for a job in tech. Jasper's casual style, a fitted navy blue shirt and dark jeans, complemented his athletic build. He scanned the room for a moment before his gaze landed on Oliver. "Is this seat taken?" Jasper asked, flashing a charming smile that made Oliver's heart skip a beat. "No, not at all," Oliver replied, trying to sound casual as he gestured toward the empty chair across from him. Jasper settled in and ordered a coffee. "I'm Jasper," he said, extending a hand. "Oliver," he replied, shaking Jasper's hand and feeling an unexpected jolt of electricity at their touch. "So, what are you working on?" Jasper asked, glancing at the sketchbook. Oliver hesitated but decided to share a glimpse of his world. "Just some sketches, trying to figure out my style for an exhibition coming up." "An exhibition? That's amazing. I'd love to see your work," Jasper encouraged, genuine interest shining in his eyes. Oliver felt warmth spread through him at Jasper's enthusiasm. "Thanks. I'm just not sure if it's good enough yet. Art is subjective," Jasper said thoughtfully. "What matters is that it reflects you. Don't let fear hold you back." Oliver nodded slowly, feeling inspired by Jasper's words. They spent hours talking about art and technology, sharing stories and dreams as if they had known each other for years. The connection between them was palpable, laughter flowed easily between them as they discovered shared interests and passions. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the cafe floor, Oliver realized how much he enjoyed Jasper's company. There was something magnetic about him. His confidence mixed with genuine kindness made Oliver feel seen in a way he hadn't felt in a long time. "Do you want to grab dinner sometime?" Jasper asked suddenly, breaking into Oliver's thoughts. "Yeah, I'd like that," Oliver replied, surprised by how quickly his heart raced at the idea. They exchanged numbers before parting ways that evening, both feeling an undeniable spark that lingered long after they said goodbye. As Oliver walked home under the twinkling city lights, he couldn't shake off the feeling that this encounter was just the beginning of something special. The following week unfolded like a vibrant tapestry, each day woven with moments that brought Oliver and Jasper closer together. They met for dinner at a cozy Italian restaurant, where the air was filled with the rich aroma of garlic and fresh basil. As they shared plates of pasta, their laughter mingled with the clinking of glasses, creating a symphony of warmth and connection. Jasper was animated as he spoke about his experiences in the tech world, his eyes sparkling with passion. Oliver listened intently, captivated not just by Jasper's words but also by the way his enthusiasm lit up his face. In turn, Oliver shared stories about his art, how each piece was a reflection of his emotions, a glimpse into his soul. Jasper's genuine interest made Oliver feel valued, as if his creativity mattered. As their evenings together continued, they explored the city hand in hand. They wandered through art galleries, where Oliver felt a sense of pride as he pointed out pieces that inspired him. Jasper would nod appreciatively, often sharing his thoughts on the works displayed. They strolled along the waterfront, where the sound of waves crashing against the shore provided a soothing backdrop to their conversations. Each moment felt electric, charged with an unspoken understanding that neither dared to fully acknowledge. One sunny Saturday afternoon, they decided to visit Golden Gate Park. The sun shone brightly overhead, casting dappled shadows through the trees as they walked along winding paths. Oliver felt lighter than he had in years, buoyed by Jasper's presence. They stopped by a small pond where ducks paddled lazily, and Oliver pulled out his sketchbook. "Mind if I sketch you?" he asked playfully, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. "Only if you promise to make me look like a superhero," Jasper replied with a grin. Oliver chuckled and began to draw. As he focused on capturing Jasper's features, the way his hair fell just so and the playful glint in his eyes, he felt an overwhelming sense of affection wash over him. The sunlight illuminated Jasper's face, making him look almost ethereal. "Wow, you're really talented," Jasper said as he leaned closer to see the sketch take shape. "Thanks," Oliver replied, feeling warmth bloom in his chest at the compliment. "It's just practice. Practice makes perfect," Jasper said thoughtfully. "You should be proud of what you create." As they continued their day in the park, they shared stories from their childhoods, Oliver's memories of painting murals on his bedroom walls and Jasper's tales of building computers with his father. Each revelation brought them closer together, layers peeling away to reveal their true selves. Later that evening, they found themselves sitting on a bench overlooking the bay as the sun dipped below the horizon. The sky transformed into a canvas of oranges and purples, mirroring the emotions swirling within Oliver. He felt an urge to share what had been growing inside him since they met. "Jasper," he began hesitantly, "I really enjoy spending time with you." Jasper turned to him, curiosity dancing in his eyes. "I feel the same way. It's like we just click." Oliver took a deep breath, gathering courage. I think I might be developing feelings for you." The air between them thickened with anticipation as Jasper's expression shifted from surprise to something softer. "You're not alone in that," he admitted quietly. "I've been feeling it too." A moment passed where neither spoke, instead, they simply held each other's gaze. It was as if time stood still around them, the world faded away until there was only the two of them and the undeniable connection that had formed. Just then, a gentle breeze rustled through the trees, carrying with it the scent of saltwater and blooming flowers. Oliver felt an overwhelming desire to bridge the gap between them, to close that final distance. But before he could act on it, a group of friends nearby erupted into laughter, breaking the spell that had enveloped them. They both chuckled nervously at the interruption but knew that their moment was far from over. As they walked back to their cars under a blanket of stars, Oliver couldn't shake off the feeling that this budding relationship was something extraordinary, something worth exploring further. The following week was filled with a mix of anticipation and nervousness for Oliver. He found himself constantly thinking about Jasper, replaying their last conversation in his mind. The connection they shared felt undeniable, yet the fear of crossing that invisible line lingered in the back of his mind. One evening, as the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the city, Oliver invited Jasper to his apartment for dinner. He wanted to create a cozy atmosphere, one that would allow them to be open and honest with each other. He spent the afternoon preparing a simple meal, his heart racing with excitement and anxiety. When Jasper arrived, he was greeted by the rich aroma of garlic and herbs wafting through the air. "Wow, it smells amazing in here," he exclaimed, stepping inside and taking in the warm ambiance Oliver had created with soft lighting and flickering candles. "Thanks. I hope it tastes as good as it smells," Oliver replied with a shy smile. They settled at the dining table, sharing stories and laughter over plates of pasta. Each bite felt like a step closer to something deeper. As they finished their meal, Jasper leaned back in his chair, a playful grin on his face. "You're quite the chef," Oliver chuckled, feeling a rush of warmth at the compliment. "Just a little practice." After dinner, they moved to the living room, where Oliver had set up a cozy spot on the floor with cushions and blankets. They sat close together, sharing a bottle of wine as they talked about everything from their favorite movies to their dreams for the future. As the conversation flowed effortlessly, Oliver felt an urge to reveal his feelings again. The moment felt right, the atmosphere was charged with intimacy and understanding. "Jasper," he began cautiously, "I've been thinking about what we talked about last time." Jasper turned to him, his expression attentive. "Yeah, I really like you," Oliver said, his heart pounding in his chest. "More than I ever expected to." A soft smile spread across Jasper's face as he reached out to touch Oliver's hand gently. "I like you too, Oliver. I've been trying to figure out how to say it without ruining what we have." Oliver's breath caught in his throat at Jasper's admission. The sincerity in his voice made him feel seen and cherished. "So, what does that mean for us?" he asked softly. Jasper shifted closer, their hands still intertwined. "I think it means we should explore this, whatever this is, together." Oliver's heart soared at those words. It felt like a weight had been lifted off his shoulders, he no longer had to hide how he felt. "I'd really like that," he replied, feeling a mix of relief and joy. In that moment of vulnerability, they leaned closer together until their faces were just inches apart. The air crackled with anticipation as they held each other's gaze, both aware that they were on the brink of something significant. With a shared breath of courage, they closed the distance between them and kissed for the first time. It was soft at first, tentative, but quickly deepened into something more passionate as they melted into each other. Oliver felt an explosion of emotions, happiness, excitement, and an overwhelming sense of belonging. When they finally pulled away, both breathless and smiling widely, it was clear that this kiss had changed everything between them. "Wow," Jasper said softly, still holding Oliver's gaze as if trying to memorize every detail of this moment. "Yeah," Oliver breathed out, feeling lightheaded yet grounded all at once. They spent the rest of the evening wrapped up in each other's arms on the floor, sharing stories and dreams while basking in the warmth of their newfound connection. The world outside faded away, all that mattered was this moment, the two of them together. As they finally settled down for the night, Oliver couldn't help but feel that this was just the beginning of an incredible journey together, a journey filled with love and discovery. The days that followed their first kiss were a whirlwind of emotions for Oliver. Every moment spent with Jasper felt like a dream, yet there was an underlying tension that he couldn't shake off. They were navigating uncharted waters, and while Oliver was excited, he also felt vulnerable. One Friday evening, they decided to attend an art exhibition together. Oliver was thrilled to show Jasper some of his favorite artists, hoping to share a piece of his world with him. As they walked through the gallery, the walls adorned with vibrant paintings and thought-provoking sculptures, Oliver felt a sense of pride. He glanced at Jasper, who was captivated by the artwork, his eyes wide with wonder. "This is incredible," Jasper said, stopping in front of a large abstract piece. "I love how it evokes such strong emotions." Oliver smiled, feeling a warmth spread through him at Jasper's enthusiasm. That's what art is all about, connecting with feelings and experiences. They continued to explore the gallery, discussing each piece in detail. Laughter filled the air as they playfully critiqued some of the more eccentric works. Oliver felt alive, grateful for this shared experience. But as they moved deeper into the exhibition, Oliver noticed a familiar face, a fellow artist named Max, engaged in conversation with another attendee. Max had always been competitive with Oliver, often dismissing his work as less significant. When Max spotted them, he approached with a smirk. "Well, if it isn't Oliver," Max said, his tone dripping with condescension. "And who's your new friend?" "This is Jasper," Oliver introduced him, trying to keep his composure. "Nice to meet you," Jasper replied, extending his hand confidently. Max shook it but quickly turned back to Oliver. "I heard you're trying to get into the exhibition circuit. How's that going for you?" Oliver felt a knot tighten in his stomach. "It's going well," he said, forcing a smile. "Good luck with that," Max said dismissively before walking away, leaving Oliver feeling small and deflated. Jasper noticed the change in Oliver's demeanor immediately. "Are you okay?" he asked gently. "Yeah, Max can be a bit much sometimes," Oliver replied, trying to brush it off. "You don't have to let him get to you," Jasper said firmly. "Your art is amazing, and you deserve recognition." Oliver appreciated Jasper's support but couldn't shake off the lingering doubt planted by Max's words. They continued through the exhibition, but Oliver found it hard to concentrate on the artwork anymore. The joy he had felt earlier began to fade. Later that evening, they returned to Oliver's apartment. The atmosphere was different now, heavy with unspoken tension. As they settled onto the couch with glasses of wine in hand, Jasper sensed something was off. "Oliver," he began cautiously, "I can tell something's bothering you." Oliver sighed deeply, feeling the weight of his insecurities pressing down on him. "It's just, I don't know if I'm cut out for this whole art thing. Max always makes me feel like I'm not good enough." Jasper leaned closer, his expression earnest. "You can't let someone else define your worth. Your art is beautiful because it comes from you, your experiences and emotions." "I know that," Oliver replied softly, tears threatening to spill over. "But sometimes it feels like I'm just not enough." Jasper reached out and took Oliver's hand in his own, squeezing it gently. "You are more than enough. You're talented and passionate, don't let anyone take that away from you." In that moment, Oliver felt a rush of gratitude for Jasper's unwavering support. He realized how much he needed this connection, someone who believed in him when he struggled to believe in himself. "Thank you," Oliver whispered, feeling vulnerable yet safe under Jasper's gaze. As they sat there together in silence, the weight of doubt began to lift ever so slightly. They leaned into each other for comfort, their foreheads touched as they closed their eyes for a moment of shared understanding. But just as things seemed to settle into a comforting rhythm, Oliver received a text notification on his phone from Max. "Heard you're getting into exhibitions. Let me know when you need tips." Asterisk. A wave of frustration washed over him as he read the message aloud to Jasper. "What an arrogant thing to say," Jasper replied incredulously. "You don't need tips from someone who doesn't appreciate your talent." "I know," Oliver said quietly but felt anger bubbling inside him at Max's audacity. Jasper took a deep breath before speaking again. "Let's not let him ruin our night. How about we focus on what makes us happy?" Oliver nodded slowly but felt conflicted inside. His insecurities still lingered like shadows in the corners of his mind. As they resumed their conversation about lighter topics, favorite movies and travel dreams, the laughter returned slowly but surely. Yet deep down inside him remained that nagging doubt about his worth as an artist and whether he could truly embrace this new relationship with Jasper without those insecurities creeping back in. The evening ended on a bittersweet note. While they shared moments of joy and connection, there was an unresolved tension hanging in the air, an uncertainty that threatened to overshadow their budding romance. The following week was a rollercoaster of emotions for Oliver. The lingering doubt planted by Max's words weighed heavily on him, and he found himself retreating into his thoughts more often than not. Despite Jasper's unwavering support, Oliver couldn't shake the feeling that he was on the verge of something beautiful yet fragile. One evening, after a particularly challenging day at work, Oliver decided to take a walk along the waterfront to clear his mind. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the bay, and the sound of waves lapping against the shore provided a soothing backdrop. He pulled out his sketchbook, hoping to capture the beauty around him, but the page remained blank. Just as he was about to give up, his phone buzzed with a message from Jasper. "Hey. Want to meet up? I miss you." Asterisk. A smile crept across Oliver's face as he quickly replied, "Yes. Where should we go?" Asterisk. They decided to meet at their favorite cafe, where they had first connected. As Oliver arrived, he spotted Jasper sitting at a table outside, his face lighting up when he saw Oliver approach. "Hey there." Jasper greeted him with a wide smile. "I was hoping you'd come." "Of course. I wouldn't miss it," Oliver replied, feeling his spirits lift. They settled into their seats and ordered coffee. The conversation flowed easily as they caught up on each other's lives. Jasper shared stories about work and his latest tech projects, while Oliver tried to push aside his worries and engage fully in the moment. But as they talked, Oliver felt a familiar weight settle in his chest. He wanted to be open with Jasper about what had been bothering him but struggled to find the right words. "Oliver," Jasper said suddenly, leaning forward with concern in his eyes. "I can tell something's still bothering you. You've been quiet tonight." Oliver sighed, feeling exposed under Jasper's gaze. "It's just, I've been thinking about what Max said at the exhibition." Jasper's expression hardened slightly at the mention of Max's name. "That guy again. You can't let him get to you." "I know," Oliver replied, frustration creeping into his voice. "But it's hard not to when he keeps popping up everywhere. I feel like I'm constantly comparing myself to him." Jasper reached across the table and took Oliver's hand in his own. "You're not Max, you're you. Your art is unique because it comes from your experiences and feelings. No one can take that away from you." "I appreciate that," Oliver said softly, squeezing Jasper's hand in return. "But sometimes it feels like I'm not good enough." Jasper frowned but didn't let go of Oliver's hand. "You are more than enough. You have so much talent, don't let anyone else define your worth." Oliver felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes as he absorbed Jasper's words. It was comforting to hear someone believe in him so fiercely, yet he still battled with self-doubt. "Maybe I just need some time to figure things out," Oliver admitted. "Then let's take that time together," Jasper suggested earnestly. "We can explore your art more, go to galleries, meet other artists, whatever you need." Oliver nodded slowly, feeling gratitude swell within him for Jasper's unwavering support. "That sounds great. As they finished their coffees and continued talking, Oliver felt lighter than he had in days. They shared stories about their dreams for the future, traveling together, creating art that mattered, and for the first time in a while, hope began to replace doubt. Afterward, they decided to take a walk along the waterfront again. The sun had set completely now, leaving behind a canvas of stars twinkling above them. The cool breeze brushed against their skin as they strolled side by side. "Do you remember our first date here?" Jasper asked playfully. "How could I forget? You were so charming," Oliver teased back. Jasper laughed softly, then turned serious for a moment. "I'm really glad we met that day." "Me too," Oliver said sincerely. As they walked further down the pier, they came across a small art installation, a series of colorful lanterns floating on the water's surface. The sight was mesmerizing, it felt magical against the backdrop of night. "Let's make our own wishes," Jasper suggested with a grin. They both closed their eyes and made wishes silently before releasing small lanterns into the water, a symbolic gesture of letting go of their fears and embracing new beginnings together. In that moment of shared hope and connection, Oliver felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over him. With Jasper by his side, he realized that he didn't have to face his insecurities alone, they could navigate this journey together. As they stood there watching their lanterns float away into the night, Oliver knew deep down that this was just the beginning, a beautiful chapter filled with love and self-discovery awaited them both. The following days felt like a transformative journey for Oliver. With Jasper's unwavering support, he began to embrace his art more fully, allowing himself to explore new techniques and styles without the weight of comparison. The self-doubt that had once clouded his creativity started to lift, replaced by a newfound sense of purpose. One sunny Saturday, they decided to visit a local art fair. The vibrant atmosphere buzzed with energy as artists displayed their work, and the air was filled with the scent of street food and laughter. Oliver felt a mix of excitement and nervousness as they walked through the stalls, each one showcasing unique pieces that sparked inspiration. "Look at that!" Jasper exclaimed, pointing to a colorful mural being painted live by an artist. "We should totally try something like that." "Maybe one day," Oliver replied, feeling a flutter of anxiety at the thought of painting in front of others. Jasper noticed his hesitation and squeezed his hand reassuringly. "No pressure. Just enjoy the moment." As they wandered through the fair, they stumbled upon a booth featuring local artists' work. Oliver's heart raced as he spotted a familiar name, his own. He had submitted a piece for consideration weeks ago but hadn't expected it to be showcased. "Oliver, look!" Jasper exclaimed, pulling him closer to the display. There it was, a vibrant painting that captured the essence of the city, filled with swirling colors and abstract forms. Oliver felt a rush of pride mixed with disbelief. "I can't believe it's here," he whispered, staring at his work. "It's amazing," Jasper said, beaming with admiration. "You should be so proud." Just then, an older woman approached them, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "This piece is stunning. It really captures the spirit of San Francisco." "Thank you," Oliver replied, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm actually one of the curators for this fair," she continued. "We'd love to feature more of your work in future exhibitions if you're interested." Oliver's heart raced at her words. This was everything he had dreamed of, an opportunity to share his art with a wider audience. But doubt crept in again. "Are you sure? I mean, what if my other pieces aren't good enough?" Jasper stepped forward, his expression fierce yet supportive. "You are good enough, Oliver. You have talent that deserves to be seen." The woman smiled warmly at Jasper before turning back to Oliver. "Trust me, your work speaks for itself. Just keep creating." As she walked away, Oliver felt a swell of emotion rise within him. Jasper turned to him with an encouraging smile. "See, this is just the beginning." They continued exploring the fair, but Oliver's mind was racing with possibilities. The thought of showcasing more of his art filled him with both excitement and fear, a mix he was beginning to learn to embrace. Later that evening, they returned to Oliver's apartment, where he felt an urge to celebrate this new chapter in his life. He pulled out a bottle of champagne from his fridge and poured 2 glasses. "To new beginnings," Jasper toasted, raising his glass. "To new beginnings," Oliver echoed, clinking their glasses together. As they sipped their drinks on the balcony overlooking the city skyline, the stars twinkled above them like tiny beacons of hope. The atmosphere was charged with possibility as they shared dreams for the future, traveling together to art festivals around the world and creating pieces that would resonate deeply with others. Oliver, Jasper said after a moment of comfortable silence, I want you to know how proud I am of you, not just for your art but for how far you've come. Oliver felt warmth spread through him at those words. I couldn't have done it without you, he admitted honestly. Jasper leaned closer, their faces just inches apart. We're in this together. In that moment, Oliver realized how much he had grown, not only as an artist but as a person willing to embrace love and vulnerability. He reached out and cupped Jasper's face in his hands, feeling an overwhelming urge to express everything he felt in his heart. With tenderness and certainty, he leaned in and kissed Jasper softly. The kiss deepened as they melted into each other. It was filled with passion and promise, a celebration of their journey together. When they finally pulled away, breathless and smiling, Oliver knew that this was just the beginning of their story, a story filled with love, growth, and endless possibilities. As they sat together under the stars that night, Oliver felt ready for whatever came next, confident in his art and grateful for Jasper by his side.